When Lynn called me 18 months ago to come help with some of the challenges they were facing here in Oregon, I was a little apprehensive. They primarily focused on residential. It was a small residential program, but one of her staff I'd known for years, so decided to make the trip. But I was pleasantly surprised. When I got off the plane, I didn't find a woman that wanted to just talk about the 50 residential beds that they were caring for kids in. She wanted to talk about the child welfare system in Oregon. She wanted to talk about the broken child welfare system in Oregon. She explained to me that Oregon had more than twice as many kids in foster care as other states their size, and those kids stayed twice as long in foster care as other kids, and that she wanted to do something about it. And she believed that families was the answer. They made an attempt a couple years earlier to provide an in-home program on the coast. It didn't go well, and they wanted to try again. And I will tell you, of all the years, and I've been doing this for 38 years, we had never met anyone outside of Youth Villages that enthusiastic and that focused on a future for kids and this is an organization that was struggling, that had never provided this service before, and a leadership team that supported as well. And that got us very, very excited about continuing to support the efforts of ChristieCare. And we've had a wonderful experience over the last 18 months, and I just want to thank Lynn and her team for all their support.
It's my privilege today to announce that the boards of directors of ChristieCare and Youth Villages have decided to move forward with changing the game in Oregon. Today, we announce the intent to merge of these two powerful organizations, and we welcome you to join us in this remarkable celebration of advancing the needs of children and families all across this great state. Thank you. I have to tell you that when I've made about 50 phone calls since 7 o'clock this morning, and I've talked to some of our state's leaders, and one of the leaders I spoke with, who was kind of over the moon excited because he's dealing day to day with the fact that we have $3.5 billion less dollars in this state to serve the needs of a growing population affected by poverty. And when I told him this morning, he said, "Lynn, this is so exciting, but I'd like you to tell me what I can expect." And I said, "Speaker, I'd like to tell you to expect results. And I'd like to tell you to expect results at a lower cost. And more important than any of that is I'd like to tell you that families in Oregon, which have always been the most natural setting for raising children, are going to be able to raise their children despite the crises they face and despite the challenges they face, and we're going to make that happen throughout this great state." And he was thrilled. We have had many challenges in Oregon. We have a growing number of children in the child welfare system, in the juvenile justice system, in the mental health system, who simply become statistics. They don't graduate from high school. They don't go into the workforce. They do not create the world-class economy that all of us know Oregon needs to have and wants to have. Today, with this merger, we are creating a continuum of care for children and families that will be sure that their needs are addressed. The historic strengths of ChristieCare in providing residential services, combined with the Oregon Intercept model which Youth Villages has created, and according to Casey Family Programs, is the best in the country. We began operating that service in Oregon a month ago in Clackamas and Washington counties. We are already seeing families transformed. We are already seeing families that otherwise would have been split apart, separated, had their children taken away from them, reunified, and seeing the first hope of success that they have seen in years. And I can't tell you how exciting that is. One of the things I like a lot about Pat Lawler is his passion for this work and the energy that he puts into everything he does. He gave me a book to read about a week ago, and when Pat was coming back, I thought, I better get that book read. And I did. And the book is called Give Smart, Philanthropy That Gets Results. It's written by Thomas Tierney, the co-founder of Bridgespan, and Joel Fleischman, who is a professor at Duke University. One of the most important things they say is as follows. Outstanding philanthropy is distinguished by what it achieves, as well as by the act of charity itself. And today, each and every one of you is going to be able to be an outstanding philanthropist. Now, when I think of philanthropists, I think of Andrew Carnegie, I think of Oprah Winfrey, and ChristieCare's very own most significant philanthropist, who has since passed, but Mabel Clark McDonald, who set the standard for giving for many of the children we've seen today who otherwise would have been forgotten. We have the opportunity today to support the highest level of achievement for all children in Oregon and families all throughout this state. Doesn't matter what system of care they're in. We need to stop talking about what system of care children and families are on in Oregon. We need to talk about who those children are and where their families are and how we can help them work together. Another thing that GiveSmart talks about is that accountability requires extraordinary determination and discipline to pursue outstanding results. Youth Villages has been pursuing outstanding results relentlessly for over 20 years at a level and with a dedication and a self-reflection that is unseen in the nonprofit sector. It is simply amazing to see it in action. It is a powerful thing. I'd like to just tell you briefly about one of the reasons we're so excited about this opportunity. A few weeks ago, Isha Charlie McNeely, who spent 15 years, her entire childhood, growing up in the Oregon foster care system, got a chance to say a few things on a very big stage. When she was 3 years old, Charlie and her 4 siblings were placed into foster care because of their parents' drug problems. Now 24, Charlie went to Washington, D.C. to tell a congressional committee what growing up and aging out of foster care is really like and how the system should change. It's something all Oregonians should hear. In Charlie's words, looking back, I wonder if the state could have made the process a lot less traumatic and prevented my siblings and me from staying in care all of our youth years and from being separated as siblings. Not being able to see my parents felt like emotional punishment. I just wish my parents would have had help available to them before or during the time that we were taken. Today, each of us in this room is joining together to make sure that children like Charlie grow up in families. And for that reason, I'm asking you to join me in thinking about what you can do to support this effort. ChristieCare is known for its generous and committed givers. We have many people in the room today who, frankly, wanted to hear about Youth Villages and their national experience in changing the game for the child welfare system. Today, I'm going to ask you to do something special. It's very important that we ask you to support ChristieCare and the children and families we've always served. You all know they deserve it. You all know that historically our children have been in 14 or 15 foster placements before they ever got to our door for services. You also know that our services cost somewhere between $400 and $700 a day. Today, we have an opportunity to change the game in Oregon, deliver better results for a third of the cost. And at a time when this state has a $3.5 billion deficit, there could not be a better time for this work. So, we have people, we have envelopes on your table, we have pens, and I know that every one of you is thinking right now, you have a number in your head that you want to commit financially to this effort. And I'm excited about that, and I'm really honored by that. But today I'd like to ask you to think about that and think about the opportunity this represents. As a philanthropist, as a citizen of Oregon, and as someone who has an opportunity to actually see the results that you've seen on the screen today. These are the best results in the country. We're going to bring those results to Oregon. So I'm going to ask you to double that check. I'm not going to ask you to double that check every year. I'm just going to ask you to double that check today. This is a historic day for ChristieCare. This is a historic day for Oregon, and most importantly, this is the best opportunity any of us have had for a very long time to change the game for families in crisis. Please help me do that. Thank you.